Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for choosing updates at noon. I'm Renee Fong. And in our leading stories, PM instructs all ministries to be ready to receive more foreign investments. KKD committed to curb financial sector fraud with BNM. Memorandum of Understanding MOU signed between Malaysia and Chinese companies recently will only focus on companies with specific plan this year. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim explained that the 19 MOUs signed were agreed by both countries and will be monitored by the Chinese government.
Perdana Menteri Lee Chiang dan saya memutuskan supaya tidak melayani MOU. Ada 9 cadangan lain yang tidak diterima kerana tidak ada perancangan khusus pelaksanaan mulai tahun ini atau selewat-lewatnya akhir tahun ini. Jadi yang diputuskan ini adalah syarikat-syarikat yang telah diputuskan kedua-duanya dipantau oleh kerajaan Malaysia di bawah MITI terutamanya dan oleh kerajaan China di bawah pengawasan Perdana Menteri Lee Chiang, iaitu syarikat-syarikat yang akan melaksanakan akhir tahun ini atau selewat-lewatnya tahun depan.
Speaking in the Dewan Rakyat during Prime Minister's question time, Datuk Seri Anwar said he expected some 35,000 jobs to come with the MOUs. He was responding to question asked by Jalun MP Abdul Ghani Ahmad. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar revealed that Zhejiang Geely Holding Group Geely intends to make Malaysia as its hub in Asia-Pacific region. The Prime Minister said Geely will hold a special training program for 300 local youths this year to boost their financial skills and create job opportunities.
Geely yang merupakan investor terbesar sekarang untuk mengadakan latihan program khas bagi anak-anak tempatan, sama ada sebahagiannya di Malaysia, sebahagiannya di pusat kegiatan perniagaan mereka, industri mereka di negara China. Jadi harus ada latihan khas bagi mereka. Geely juga bersetuju untuk memulakan tahun ini dan saya ingat tindakan susulannya akan diadakan bulan depan di mana pengusinya akan hadir untuk menetapkan Malaysia sebagai pusat Geely bagi rantau Asia Pasifik.
Datuk Seri Anwar was answering question asked by Bukit Bintang MP Fong Kwee Lun. As part of the investment commitment worth 170 billion ringgit secured during the Prime Minister's visit to China last week, DRB Haikon Berhad and its automotive partner Geely have signed a heads of agreement to reinforce the next phase of collaboration between them for the development of the automotive high-tech Valley AHTV in Tanjung Malim as Malaysia's next generation vehicle hub. Earlier, Datuk Seri Anwar said he has instructed all ministries and departments to get ready with the infrastructure and human resource skills to receive increasing foreign investments into the country. Speaking at the Finance Ministry's MOF monthly assembly, he said it would be a waste of the government's efforts if Malaysians themselves do not take advantage of the opportunities available.
Sudah tahu umpamanya Amazon, AWS akan sampai ke sini. Bila saya lihat umpamanya keperluan mereka, nampak tahap kemahiran kepakaran tertinggi itu tidak terdapat. Ada, bukan maksudnya tidak terdapat, sedikit sekali keupayaan daripada anak kita. Jadi kita terpaksa kenal pasti ya program ini dan sebab itulah Kementerian Kewangan harus bantu menyelaraskan mengetahui apa bidang yang kurang dan kalau perlu kita ada peruntukan khas tambahan untuk memberi latihan intensif. Jika tidak, bila mereka masuk dan cuba mulai akhir tahun ini dan tahun depan mengambil pekerja dan dia terpaksa ambil daripada luar negara. Hal-hal yang kita harus pantau dan segerakan tindakan.
Datuk Seri Anwar said the investment of 25.5 billion ringgit by Amazon Web Services AWS and 170 billion ringgit by China in Malaysia had a snowball effect, with many countries showing interest in investing in the country. The Premier said investment in Malaysia is increasing due to the stable political system and clear government policies, as well as efforts made by government officers in attracting foreign investments. The Communications and Digital Ministry KKD is committed to continue working together with Bank Negara Malaysia BNM to curb fraud in the financial sector. Minister Fahmi Fadzil said this after meeting with BNM Governor Tan Sri Syamsiah Muhammad Yunus yesterday. He said that they had also discussed the country's economic projection, especially in the digital field, during their meeting. BNM was previously reported to have stated that it would continue its cooperation with the Royal Malaysian Police (PDRM), the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC), and the financial industry to coordinate efforts to curb financial fraud and to create better public awareness about the latest fraud tactics. Fahmi also posted on Facebook that he was also having discussions with the Association of Islamic Banking and Financial Institutions Malaysia, IBIM, about awareness on online scams. He said that online scams are his main focus in his efforts to tackle cybercrime since being appointed to head the ministry in December last year. On efforts to curb online scams, Fahmi said they were also discussing potential cooperation between IBIM and his ministry's agencies related to the field. The most reported online scams involve e-commerce or online purchases, non-existent loans, Macau scams, and love scams. The Sabah government has approved investments worth 11.5 billion ringgit involving 89 projects that generated an estimated 4,566 jobs since the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 until last year. Chief Minister Datuk Sri Haji Noor said of the 11.5 billion ringgit in investments, 9.2 billion ringgit was foreign direct investments FDI and 2.3 billion ringgit was domestic investments. He said 72.9% of the investments, or about 8.4 billion ringgit, was in the manufacturing sector, followed by the primary sector comprising agriculture, mining, commodity and plantation, and the services sector. However, the Chief Minister said the investment does not include the integrated green steel project worth 19.6 billion ringgit at the Sipitang Oil and Gas Industrial Park that was announced in November 2022. Datuk Sri Haji said these investments were the cumulative efforts of the Malaysian Investment Development Authority (MIDA), the Sabah Industrial Development and Entrepreneurship Ministry, Sabah Economic Development and Investment Authority (SEDIA), and other related agencies. The Chief Minister said now that SEDIA is directly under the purview of the Economy Ministry, he wanted all applications and implementation of projects under the Sabah Development Corridor (SDC) to be better coordinated with set timelines and all procedures to be complied with. Coming up, teenager killed in collision with a four-wheel drive vehicle. Employees Provident Fund EPF contributors should be aware of default risks if they cannot repay the financing obtained from the Account 2 Support Facility FSA2 in the required repayment period. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Chief Economist Muhammad Afzanizam Abdul Rashid said the support facility was designed to allow EPF contributors to obtain financing from financial institutions, and the money used as collateral involves their retirement funds.
Pembiayaan perbankan tu memang akan ada terdapat risiko-risiko yang mungkin mereka perlalui lah. Maksudnya kalau terdapatnya risiko mungkir ataupun default risk, ya, mungkin orang kata tu lepas tu akan berlaku apa yang dikatakan sebagai proses pemulihan ataupun recovery proses yang dilaksanakan oleh pihak-pihak bank. Di sini mereka perlu tahulah risiko yang perlu mereka lalui sekiranya permohonan atau pembiayaan tersebut tidak dapat dilunaskan dalam masa yang telah ditetapkan.
The Economist said this after the annual BNM Governor's Address on the Malaysian Economy Forum organised by the Malaysian Economic Association yesterday. In a statement, EPF said the FSA2 would be implemented in 2 phases, and EPF members that fulfill the eligibility requirements could apply for the facility from the participating banks, including MBSB Bank and Bank Simpanan Nasional BSN. Under the facility, all Malaysian EPF members under the age of 55 can submit an advance notice of age 50 or age 55 withdrawal, provided they have a minimum amount of 3,000 ringgit in their EPF account too. The maximum financing amount has been fixed at 50,000 ringgit, subject to EPF account 2 balance, with a repayment tenure of up to 10 years. The Road Transport Department JPJ has collected a total of 807 million ringgit in revenue as of February, of which 28.8 million ringgit is from collections via the Perak JPJ. JPJ Director General Datuk Zailani Hashim said a total of 196,065 ringgit was collected through the JPJ mobile counters and 1.7 million ringgit through the Phase 3 kiosks. He said the success represents JPJ's collective effort as a team, with the close collaboration of strategic partners and industry players as well as stakeholders. Datuk Zailani's speech text was read by JPJ Management Division Director Muhammad Tarmizi Abdul Talib at the inauguration ceremony of the drive-through counter at the Kuala Kangsar Enforcement Station. Perak JPJ Director Muhammad Yusof Abustan was also present. Datuk Zailani added that as of March, the JPJ recorded a total of 35,309,623 cumulative vehicles throughout Malaysia, of which 2,371,318 cumulative vehicles were recorded in Perak. During the same period, the cumulative number of active driving licence holders in the country was 14,757,707. Meanwhile, Muhammad Yusof said the Kuala Kangsar drive-through counter would benefit over 150,000 residents in the area, as well as people of the state in general.
Hasrat penduduk tempatan kerana ada lokasi kita agak jauh. Contoh yang terdekat dari sini adalah Ipoh, Taiping dan juga Great. Jadi di sini agak di tengah-tengah. Jadi kita memikirkan bahawa kita mempunyai stesen penguatkuasaan. Kenapa tidak kita memberi servis tambahan kepada penduduk tempatan?
Terengganu Police have received 5 reports related to fraudulent Hajj and Umrah pilgrimage packages by 2 companies involving losses amounting to 214,315 ringgit. State Police Chief Datuk Rohaimi Mat Isa said 4 reports were received on Sunday involving a company in Kuala Terengganu, while 1 report was lodged today against a travel agency in Alostar, Kedah.
Kita yakinlah akan terdapat lagi mangsa-mangsa yang akan tampil membuat laporan di atas syarikat yang sama. Jadi kita ingin menasihatkan orang ramai yang mana akan mengadakan ataupun akan mengerjakan umrah supaya lebih berhati-hati terhadap syarikat-syarikat yang menawarkan pelbagai pakej yang menarik.
Datuk Rasmi added that the cases were being investigated under Section 420 of the Penal Code. Meanwhile, one of the victims, Ahmad Kashfi Abdul Rahman, said he and 14 other family members were scheduled to depart for the Holy Land on 28th February, but the trip was postponed to 3rd March for certain reasons. However, the civil servant said he was informed by his brother that the company had cancelled their flight and would provide a new date for their family to go to the Holy Land to perform the Umrah. A teenager died when he lost control of his motorcycle and ran into a four-wheel drive vehicle at kilometre 8.9 on the Sultan Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah Bridge in Pulau Pinang at 10:30 p.m. last night. The victim, identified as Muhammad Doni Alif Rasdi, 18, died at the scene due to severe injury. The victim was believed to be on his way from Kampung Makam in Georgetown heading to Uptown Perda in Bukit Mertajam to buy Hari Raya clothes. He was with several other motorcyclists heading to the same location. The body of the victim was sent to Sungai Bakap Hospital for post-mortem. Over in Malacca, a man died after he fell from the 9th floor of Krubong People's Housing Project, PPR. Malacca Tengah Police Chief ACP Christopher Patit said the 45-year-old victim was found by residents of the PPR on the second floor roof of the PPR at 5:55 p.m. yesterday. ACP Christopher said early investigation found no criminal element as the victim was reported to be living alone in a unit on the 9th floor of the PPR. The body was sent to Malacca Hospital for post-mortem and investigation on the case is still ongoing. On the foreign front, Ecuador authorized carry and use of guns by civilians for personal defense. Stay with us. A 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck off Sumatra Island in western Indonesia last night, shaking homes of panicked residents but causing no casualties or damage. The United States Geological Survey (USGS) reported the quake's epicenter was at sea southwest of Padang Sidempuan city in northern Sumatra at a depth of 84 kilometers. Malaysia's Meteorological Department Director General Muhammad Helmi Abdullah said tremors may be felt in Perak, Selangor, Federal Territories of Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya, Negeri Sembilan, Melaka and Johor. He added there is no tsunami threat to Malaysia. Meanwhile, the Kuala Lumpur Fire and Rescue Department JPBM also confirmed receiving a call regarding tremors felt by a resident of the Pudu Impian 1 apartment in Jalan Cheras, Kuala Lumpur. According to a spokesperson for JPBM KL, a fire team along with a machine was deployed to the location for further monitoring and inspection. Ecuador has authorized the carrying and use of guns by civilians, citing rising crime and insecurity in the Andean country. President Guillermo Lasso, in a televised broadcast on Saturday, said the possession and carrying of guns for civilian use in personal defense is authorized in accordance with the requirements of laws and regulations. He added civilians will also be allowed to carry and use cans of pepper spray. Lasso has been fighting to tackle rising crime and violence in the streets and in prisons, where hundreds of inmates have been killed, which the government blames on drug trafficking gangs. The beleaguered president also faces an impeachment process over allegations of embezzlement, accusations that he has denied after Ecuador's top court gave the green light for hearings to go ahead. Citizens in the streets of Quito showed mixed opinions on the matter. Ecuador on Saturday declared a state of emergency in the nation's major port and other areas, reeling from drug-related crimes. Lasso added that the state of emergency included a nightly curfew from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the affected areas. The security minister for the province of Buenos Aires, Argentina, is violently attacked by a group of angry bus drivers after one of their colleagues was shot dead while working. The attack on Sergio Berni occurred when he arrived at the place where bus drivers were demonstrating against insecurity in La Matanza on the western outskirts of Buenos Aires. Berni approached protesters to discuss measures to crack down on violence when some started to beat him. Berni is seen bleeding from the face and staggering to his feet after falling during the attack, which was broadcast live on local television. He was eventually removed by police who took him to hospital. According to the emergency services, 8 police officers and 3 bus drivers were injured in ensuing clashes. The protest was sparked by the death of bus driver Daniel Barrientos, 65, who was shot by 2 delinquents who boarded to rob passengers in the early hours of Monday. Right before he was whisked away, Berni said the perpetrators had been arrested and work is being done to guarantee drivers' safety. Syrian air defences confronted a number of Israeli targets over its capital's airspace late on Monday evening. Video taken in the early hours of Tuesday morning showed the defence system hitting several targets in the sky. State news agency SANA said 2 civilians were killed in the attack. Israeli authorities have not commented on the attack. However, SANA said Syrian air defences had intercepted hostile targets over Damascus following what they called an enemy airstrike at about 12:15 a.m. local time. Israel has for years carried out attacks against what it has described as Iran-linked targets in Syria, where Tehran's influence has grown since it began supporting President Bashar al-Assad in the conflict. Monday's attack was the 4th of its kind over the last several days, with previous attacks hitting Damascus and the central province of Homs. Iranian state media reported an Israeli attack near Damascus on Friday killed 2 members of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Up next in sports, WWE an endeavour to merge into $21 billion entertainment giant. Stay tuned. The Ministry of Health, MOH, and the National Sports Institute, ISN, signed a memorandum of understanding yesterday to seal cooperation towards enhancing the quality of sports medicine. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah signed on behalf of MOH, while ISN by its Chief Executive Officer, Ahmad Fazil Mat Ramli. MOH and ISN in a joint statement said they had carried out a number of direct and indirect collaborations previously, and the signing of the MOU is expected to strengthen their collaboration in sports medicine in terms of services, training, research and publication. The MOU is expected to spur the country's efforts to improve and maintain the health of the society and change the country's health landscape from sick care to health care. The statement added that the empowerment of sports medicine will also able to reduce the cost of treating non-communicable and infectious disease. One of the aspects of cooperation that will be focused on is sports science clinical services and the referral of identified clients between MOH and ISN based on locality, facilities and the presence of current sports medicine specialists. In football news, Chelsea interim coach Bruno Salto said they need to keep moving ahead one step at a time after the sacking of Graham Potter. Salter, who coached at Brighton and Hove Albion under Potter before following him to Stamford Bridge last year, took charge of the London club as interim coach after the Englishman's departure. He will face a stern test in his first game in charge tomorrow at home to 8th place Liverpool, who sit 4 points above Chelsea.
Probably means that I'm here right now, just trying to keep the process going, and we're just trying to collaborate the best that we can. And I think Graham, he did an amazing job. Football is a really complex business, and we have to keep going.
Chelsea's managerial position has been the subject of much discussion over the past 24 hours, with Julian Nagelsmann, Brendan Rodgers and Luis Enrique among the names linked with the job. Chelsea next face a Liverpool side who have lost their last 3 games in all competitions. Chelsea sacked Potter hours after relegation threatened Leicester City parted ways with Brendan Rodgers. Meanwhile, Tottenham Hotspur also parted ways with Antonio Conte late last month. World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated will combine with Endeavour Group-owned mixed martial arts franchise UFC to form a new publicly listed entertainment giant valued at about $21 billion. The deal unites 2 of the biggest names in wrestling and entertainment and caps a months-long sale process for WWE, overseen by its co-founder and executive chairman Vince McMahon, who returned to the company's board in January. Endeavour CEO Ari Emanuel said he would capitalize on Endeavour's expertise in securing media deals, sponsorships and new forms of distribution to fuel growth at the new company, which he will lead as Chief Executive Officer while continuing in his role at Endeavour. McMahon will retain his role in the new company, which will be majority owned by Endeavour with a 51% stake, while WWE investors will own the rest. Under the deal that a source said was internally referred to as Project Stunner, UFC and WWE will also contribute cash to the new company, so it holds nearly $150 million. The agreement values each share of WWE at $106, representing a premium of 16% to the company's Friday closing, and gives WWE an enterprise value of $9.3 billion. The new company will be listed under ticker symbol TKO on the New York Stock Exchange. And with that, we reached the end of today's updates at noon. In our leading story, PM wants all ministries to be ready for more foreign investments with infrastructures and human resources skill. And do join us again tomorrow afternoon for more news update. And if you are on the move, you can always stream us online on RTM Click's website and mobile app, or you could rewatch it again on Berita RTM YouTube channel. Till then, I'm Renee Fong. Goodbye and have a pleasant afternoon.